I'm taking us live. And now we're live, everybody. Good
Yay!
morning.
Hi.
Happy Sunday. It's a Sunday, right?
Yes, it is
Yes, it is
Sunday.
Sunday.
I'm still getting the first
Yeah.
sips of my coffee, so forgive me if I'm a little off. Welcome to Lit Bitches, everybody. This is the bi-monthly panel where me and two of my favorite indie authors sit and we chat about all things lit and literary, including our own work. If you're not here for self-plugs, I don't know what to tell you because we're gonna plug it, but we're gonna do that later. Let's first introduce ourselves. If you've never seen me before, I'm Amanda Ross, aka Amanda the Author, and I am a fantasy author who writes witchy tales set in modern times. Ladies,
Ooh, I am Katrina Lewis. I am a fantasy romance author, so I love all things badass and swim worthy.
mm-hmm.
And hi, I'm Khaila Gentle, and I am a fantasy and sci-fi writer.
Wonderful. And you're working on your first epic fantasy novel. Oh,
I,
Yes.
I yeah, I am working on my first fantasy novel, which I am loving right now. I'm finally delving into the world of it.
Yes.
love
I
it.
know that's right.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to get into this. We're going to get into these topics. So, first, let's talk about social media do's and don'ts. I think that was the first topic we had on the docket. So, um, I don't know. I think what is your relationship with social media as an author? How do you feel things have gone, are going? Let's talk about it.
Me and social media, we fight every day. No, I feel like social media is like a gift and a
Yeah.
curse. I feel like, as authors and as creators, period, we want to show our work, we want to share it with the world, we want people to see it, which is
Mm-hmm.
all great. But then, like, there's like this other side of it that comes from like societal pressure, comparing yourself to other people. What else? Or people just being negative and you have to block somebody. Um, so yeah, no, or like you just don't feel like social media sometimes because it comes
Right.
with. I feel like the gift of social is like you can connect with people so fast, just like how I'm connected with Amanda, she's in California, and then we're connected with Khaila, who's in Belize. Um, but at the same time, it's like you don't always want to be bothered. Do not respond. Do not disturb, please.
Yes. You don't, times where you don't want to wish to be perceived, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the burden of being a creative person and having in this day and age and having to reach people is you do a lot of it through social media and that's how you connect with other authors
Yeah.
and other readers. I think it can be difficult, especially when you have a lot of other stuff going on. But what
Hmm.
about you, Kyla? What's your relationship to social media as an author?
I social media and I definitely have a love-hate relationship. Sometimes it's mostly hate. But I try my best to like navigate it as well as I can, figure out the algorithm and all that. But like you, Katrina, I also have those days where I'm just like, I do not want to be perceived right now. But then
No,
as an
yeah.
author, you you feel like if you just like abandon your social media for a while, then you're gonna suffer because of it.
Hmm.
But lately, I learned to just kind of check out if I need to, while
Hmm.
still kind of
Right.
managing the consistency for the most part.
Mm-hmm. I think I've found like scheduling a day and being intentional with a day that I take off has helped.
Hmm.
Usually it's been Sundays. Um, and I just feel like if I make a plan of every Sunday I do not post, then that helps me be consistent and then it helps set that consistency and expectation for my followers that oh, it's Sunday, she's not posting. It's not just I'm randomly taking time
Right.
off. And mind you, this is all regular regular time. Like obviously if there's an emergency or you sick or something like who cares? But
Right.
when it comes to consistency, I think being intentional about the days that you're taking off can help you not feel like
Overwhelmed by, yeah.
overwhelmed, but then like you're letting anybody down. So I guess for our watchers out there, if you're an indie author, I guess, or any kind of author, because I know traditional you have to do your social too.
Yeah, you still got to do your social.
Yeah.
So if you're an author, I guess our first tip is if if it's
Be
overwhelming
like
to do
Amanda.
social every day, schedule a day off each week and be consistent with that day off.
Yeah.
Sunday, Monday, whatever day, that is the day that you don't post, and then be consistent with that. It's the first
My
tip.
so that's a good tip. And then I think I don't know, would this be like a don't spread yourself too thin across too many social platforms? Like
Yeah.
I don't know about
Yeah.
y'all, but like I always feel like I have to be here, I have to be there. I gotta be on Facebook, Twitter, Discord. Like there's too
Yeah.
many. I
Right.
can't keep up. Like actually, don't follow me there because I'm not there.
Yeah.
Like that's okay, but would that fall into like don't spread yourself too thin? Yeah, so
Yeah.
that would be a
Yeah. One of the don'ts. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, I think what definitely helps is knowing who your audience is, because
Mhm.
if you're trying to appeal to an older audience, then Facebook might work better than TikTok. So you don't
Mhm.
necessarily have to be on TikTok. But I feel like for the three of us, our audience is mainly Instagram and TikTok. So
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think it's important to be where you like keep your audience in mind, be where they're at, and then also but at the same time enjoy the platforms that you're on. Because if you don't enjoy being on TikTok, even if your audience is there, they're gonna feel that you don't enjoy it. They're gonna catch that vibe that you're not
yeah,
like in it to
You're
win
not for it.
it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
if you would rather reach them on Instagram, cool. And I think also, maybe have a platform that you just enjoy. Like Twitter's not necessarily where my target audience would be. They
Yeah.
are on Twitter, but it's not the default. But I just like Twitter because it's fun just to write random
it
stuff.
really is.
See, I don't like Twitter. I always feel like I'm shouting into a void. I'm like, can anyone hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to get like high engagement on Twitter if you're not let me start that again. It's hard to get high engagement on your tweets if you're not tweeting a lot. I think a lot
Hmm.
of
yeah,
people like unlike Instagram and TikTok and even Facebook where you can post once a day like and that's good
Right.
and the more you do the better. Twitter it really does work the more you were tweeting. So if you're tweeting like 10 plus tweets a
Right.
day,
That's the more engagement you want.
yeah. But that's also where like if I don't feel like doing a bunch of tweeting is when I start quote tweeting people and
Hmm.
just
yeah,
responding to other tweets and all that kind of stuff where I'm like, I don't
yeah,
have an original thought to my name right now.
I don't have an original thought to mind.
I'm just gonna start like,
Says
oh,
the
I like
author.
that comment, so this is what we're gonna do.
yeah. And hey, it works. So it really does work.
Yeah, for anybody who's catching the stream now or in the future, let us know what platforms you're using or like or don't like. I think another tip I have is to try to pre-plan your content.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's a biggie because
Yes.
ooh, child, it takes a while.
That's one of the most important, actually.
yeah.
Mhm. How far in advance do you all plan your content?
Kyla, you want to go
I
first?
usually, I usually.
Katrina!
She is a pantser through and through. I love it. For me, my thing is that
Soil.
I'm gonna try and plan my stuff for the month, but I
Hmm.
never stick to it. So like it's gonna be there on my calendar, all written out and all planned out, but I rarely ever stick to it. And I'm trying so hard to like stick to it. Like okay, I'm gonna post this, this, and this, but still learning.
Yeah, like I don't even do that. Like it's just I don't know what it is, guys. Like, I just don't. Okay, no. I've tried. The furthest I've got was like I scheduled like 3 days in advance, and I was like, okay, 3 days. This will be my post, but like I don't get very far. I need to learn. I know. I need to learn because that's part of my social media like stress. I'm just like, oh, what am I going to post today? So if I plan it in advance, I'll have it all done. But
Hmm.
I don't know. It's just
See, I don't like pre-schedule things, but I will I plan the posts and then I'll pre-do the content. So I'll pre-do the images and then the reels generally, and then on TikTok I'll do it
Mhm.
and leave the stuff in drafts, and then that's it.
No, that's still better than what I do. Amanda, it could be the day of. Like, what was my last post? Not the video I posted, but something before that. It was that day I made something and posted it.
But honestly though, if that works for you, then great. Like I think the biggest thing with social also is whatever works for you, keep doing it. That's
Yeah,
also,
that's
I
true.
think, with marketing, with anything, if you guys, if y'all watching take nothing away aside from how wonderful we are, it's um do what works for you. And if you have found a rhythm, if you found that not posting on TikTok, but posting on Instagram works for you,
Mhm.
not posting every day, then do what works for you. But keep trying until you figure out what works for you, and then you
Right.
can be consistent with it.
Posting every day
Yeah.
does not work for
Yeah.
me. I don't like posting every day.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Mm-mm.
think I think that that could be summarized as like be yourself, because that's one of the things that I've learned in my
Yeah.
social media journey is that trying to do what another author is doing or trying to be what someone else is, it's not gonna work. You're not going to
No.
enjoy it, and you're not gonna want to post and stuff. So just
Hmm.
do what feels right to you.
Right.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, you can only go in as yourself. I feel like social media has like this thing, especially like when you're younger or whatever, whenever you're feeling that way, whether it's you see something you're like, oh, I want to do that too, or oh, I wish I was like that. Like, no, go and just being yourself because like Kyla said, you won't enjoy the platform. Your
Hmm.
post probably won't be as good because you're trying to mimic something that you didn't necessarily create or it didn't come from you. What's the word I'm looking for? Like authentically.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, just whatever you do, wherever you post, be yourself. That is how you'll get people to like you and follow you and enjoy your content.
Right. And of course, we're not saying not to uh, copy and improve on the design, right? Because
Right, not that. Right.
a lot of TikTok is about taking a sound that somebody's done and
Mhm.
making it. It's about like making the things that are already out there your own. A very
Right.
popular
Yeah.
way that people are posting their lines from their works in progress now is it's like a screenshot of the work in progress and then an
Hmm.
image behind it. Whereas years ago, even a year ago, it was like taking that line, putting it into Canva and mocking it up. I like this version that we're going now because it's a lot less work. Having to put it all into Canva and da da da. All you got to do is get an image, take a screenshot, and make it.
Got. Yeah.
So it's about, so if that's the way that things are going and that's the trend, then you should follow the trend so you
Right.
know like that you're current. But figure out how to make it your own. Use your own type of images.
Hmm.
Whatever. Same thing with TikTok sounds. Same thing with reels. Any of that. Be authentic in you and put yourself out there. But then
Yeah, right. Don't be dumb and not follow a trend. That'll right. Yeah. It'll
right.
help get you seen. Yeah, that's not what we're saying. Use them trends, y'all.
So that's a good segue to our next topic because speaking of trends, and this is what I'm chomping at the bit to talk about. So speaking of trends, we're going to talk about the trend of continually bashing self-published and indie authors. That's been going on for since the game started. Uh, Kyla brought this article to our attention. So, Kyla, do you kind of want to
Uh,
summarize this article that we're about to talk
yes.
about so we can all read it? Because
This
I'm excited to read
Lord
this.
have mercy.
this shit. Um, so I didn't even accidentally discover it. Medium specifically recommended that I read this article, which
Oh,
I have
wow.
no idea why. The
Mhm.
title of the article is "No, You Shouldn't Self-Publish Your Book." So I saw that and I was annoyed. I was like, okay, let me see what this is about.
Mhm.
And it's basically, I'm not sure who the author is, but this person wrote this article basically to say that not traditionally published, self-published books are so rife with poor writing and grammatical errors that indie books are basically so shitty that you you shouldn't attempt to go indie because it's substandard, it's not good quality.
Mm.
But by the end of this article, you learn that this person is an indie author. They're basically telling you don't that was the part that I did not get. Like, you're telling me that indie books are basically trash, but you yourself went the indie route because of how difficult it is to get into traditional publishing,
Mhm.
Right.
and I just didn't get it. Like, actually
Well,
have the article open here.
you can, if you want to read like a
Yeah,
little
but
bit of it.
Kyla came with receipts.
I have the comments. There's this one
I
comment that I
you
want.
you know
Uh,
yeah, the comments came for her. The comments were authors basically telling her that you're talking about how indie books are poorly written when this article itself is so poorly written with this clickbait title, you
Yep.
know?
mm, yeah. So she starts out saying that she wanted to break into publishing. She
Mhm.
wanted to do traditional. Then she goes into this, like, for reasons that I'm not going to get into because it's a separate article. I decided to
Mhm.
go indie, which basically tells me that she didn't like the querying process and got a lot of rejections and therefore decided to go indie. Which off top is already not a good reason to and go indie publishing,
Mhm.
because it's giving very, like, this is my last resort
Sure.
because
Right.
traditional publishing didn't want me. And like, you should by no means decide to do that. Like, I'm somebody, I did query, it didn't work out, and then I really thought about it and realized that having more creative control, having the ability to put my book out sooner,
Mhm.
and deciding to just go and do it myself was a better option for me.
Right.
And yeah, I was disillusioned by the traditional publishing process, but it wasn't, I didn't decide within the same day to go indie as a well, you don't want me traditional publishing, so screw you.
Right.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna take it indie.
right. Like, it was definitely a, okay, let me rethink this. My book is going to be out in the world, like,
Right.
regardless. Let me rethink this. And then she goes into, like, but she, like, basically called every book that was indie published bad. Am I tripping? Like, that the vibe
Yeah.
was that she basically
Yeah.
said, like, I read
Yeah.
all of
Yeah,
these really
basically.
shitty indie books.
Yeah.
As
The
if
I
there
we're
aren't really bad traditionally published books out there.
Right.
That
Like,
is
how many
exactly
times
what
have
I
we
was gonna
wasted
say.
time
Yeah.
reading a traditionally published book and it was garbage?
Yeah, that is exactly what someone pointed out to her. They're like, you do realize that there are bad traditionally published books, right? Like,
Plenty.
Hmm. Well, and her argument is, she's not talking about, okay, she's talking about specifically the editing process and covers and
Mhm.
editing, and how in her mind
Yeah.
he's assuming, because she has read these books, that indie authors do not care about editing and a professional cover. And she makes a blanket statement saying that indie authors generally skip a developmental edit, which, if you don't know what a developmental edit
Right.
is, it's basically somebody looking at your book to make sure that it makes sense, that the plot makes sense,
The
that the
pacing.
characters
Right.
are doing what they're supposed to be doing, that there's not any glaring potholes, that if you say in chapter 1, so and so was dying, that in chapter
Mhm.
3, they're
There are
not
still
walking
lines.
around like
Yeah.
nothing happened. You know what I mean? And so she's making this blanket statement that most indie authors skip that type of editing, which is not true.
Right.
And then making the assumption that a lot of them don't get professional covers, which is also not true.
I
Um,
mean, look at our covers. Hello.
Right. It's just like contributing to the stereotype that self-published books are, again, that are bad. Like I said, look at our covers. One, we all got them professionally done. The first edit I got done was the developmental edit. I did not skip the stage. um, yeah, like, to be honest, yeah, of course, a traditionally published book, I mean, yeah, traditionally published book has the money and the publishing house behind them to put more resources into said product. But that doesn't mean that indie authors are necessarily skipping that step. We may have less capital, so we may go with someone maybe lesser known who may, I don't know, they're not the industry top developmental editor or copy line editor or whatever. It necessarily doesn't mean that we're skipping those steps or that our books are inherently not good because we don't have a publishing house behind us. That's not true.
right. This article, this whole thing is giving somebody who has no author friends,
Yeah,
no indie author friends.
friends.
That's what it's giving. It's giving, like, I don't know any other indie authors. All the other authors I know or even consider to associate with are traditionally published authors.
Right.
And this is what they say. And this has been my experience. And we're not sitting here saying that every single indie author is doing it the right way, that every single indie book is good.
Right.
But
Mhm.
that's just, not every book is developmentally edited. Not every book has a professional cover, indie or traditional. It does not matter.
Mhm.
At this point, baby, like, it does not matter. Like, there are some traditionally published books out there that just should not have existed.
Right.
50 Shades of Grey, hello. I'm calling it out.
Shots fired.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
I mean,
It's
look.
true though. It's true.
And then there are some self-published books that look like they have been traditionally published that are bomb.com. You pick it up and you're like, this person is indie. Indie doesn't mean broke. It doesn't mean cheap. It doesn't mean any. I don't know when indie became synonymous with those things.
It's because, okay, so it's because, let me straighten my glasses for this.
You look cute.
It's because publishing, traditionally published, like the industry, there's a huge amount of gatekeeping. We
Mhm.
all three of us know this as Black authors. Like, there's a huge amount of gatekeeping and a huge amount of, how many times have we seen articles and stories where a I'm just gonna keep 100, a mediocre author goes and gets a 6-figure deal for a
Yeah.
book, and then meanwhile an author who is not that,
Mhm.
or who's a woman, or who's queer, or who whatever, doesn't even get that same opportunity. Their
Yeah.
marketing is not tossed behind them.
Yep.
And how many times have we heard stories from authors who had to age their characters down, had
Mhm.
to, let's say they wanted their book to be full of a Black cast, and then they had to diversify it because publishing wanted them to change it. Or, they had one cover and then the publishing people changed the cover Like,
there's an article. I don't mean to cut you off of N.K. Jemisin. She talked about, I believe it was the fifth season. I think it was the fifth season. Or it might have been another book that she wrote where the entire cast was black, and she was querying. She had a hard time finding a publishing house to pick the book up. And I don't know if someone suggested it to her, or she was doing she's like, oh, well, let's try this. And she changed all the characters white, and the book got picked up.
right.
Same story, just changed the race of the characters, and they picked up the book.
Exactly. So, so there's that, and then there's this idea that because anybody can go and publish a book, which in theory should be a really great idea. Like, why not make it accessible for everybody to be able to put the story that's on their heart out there?
Right.
Look, even like wild stuff, people are still out putting it out there. I'm also, though, not saying that, let's just say Quan Mills, which was the other recent kind of publishing thing, maybe that should not have been put out there. But
no, what happened? I don't know. Hold on, Paul. Let's detour. What happened? Can we detour?
Quan Mills,
yeah, you need to.
He's a indie published author who writes dirty romances, but the titles are like "Pregnant by My Granddad's Baby" or like my boyfriend.
Oh, is that the pastor eat the kitty?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I heard of this.
Whether this person is black or not, because the cover it's giving very Sean King energy.
Yeah.
Hey girl, morning everyone. It reminds me of that publishing paid me hashtag, and some authors that have spoken out about how they had this issue. Exactly.
Wow.
Yes. And so I think to then have this much heat for indie.
N.K. Jemisin was sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think N.K. Jemisin was also a huge part of the publishing paid me thing that happened, where they were disclosing that they made so much less than their fellow white authors. Yeah. And that yeah, it was very similar.
Right. Yeah. And I think that, man, this there's so much I want to just say on this.
Now that you bring it up, I've heard. I didn't like click on the hashtag, but like I heard bits and pieces of what was happening there.
Oh, the publishing paid me?
Not the publisher paid me. The
the Quan Mills.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think this author is it's incredibly misguided, and I don't think that you should enter into an industry and have such a poor view of your coworkers, basically. Yeah. You know, yes, there are. We already talked about it. There's bad indie books. There's bad trad books. But to make a blanket statement is only you are perpetuating the stigma that you were saying that you were trying to break.
Right. Which makes zero sense.
By putting out this poorly written article where you're shifting between tenses. I don't know if you did this shit yesterday, if you did this shit last year. I don't know if you're actively indie publishing, girl. Right. I don't know. Over here talking about like cover design and then dragging popular indie authors because they don't get professional editing and cover but maybe they do it themselves. Like, if it's working, then it's working.
Right.
Like, and then you're over here talking about you want to give a good experience for readers. Well, how about the readers of this article? Because I did not have a good experience reading this article. And it makes me not want to read your book. This article makes me not want to read your book. So what you did is you shot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
And are turning other authors off who could have been your allies. That's the other thing too. Is that that's another reason why it's giving, like, I don't know any other indie authors. Because if you did...
Right, because who says that? Yeah.
That we all got to stand together.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm dominating this conversation.
No, you're not. You're fine.
said you were gonna roast, you are roasting her, and I love it.
It
Yeah.
also reminds me of how they'll pay a celebrity a huge amount, and sometimes that book ain't selling when they could have given that to an amazing that part. That part. Yeah, yeah. So this I found this comment to be especially interesting, and so I'm just gonna read it. It's a little long, but it is. So this person is saying this in regards to the statement. Then I find myself drifting towards traditional publishing because at least I know the books will be to a certain standard. No,
Not true.
no.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
What you are ignoring are the stats. Less than 2% of query letters elicit the interest of traditional publishers, and the quality of the story is not a given. That means, and agents admit this, the industry simply does not have the money to sponsor all that many authors. Not to mention, most books disappear from publisher and audience attention after 6 months. Traditional publishers these days are the big five who are calling the shots and who also admit they rely on their few best-selling authors to pay for all the books they publish that do not make the grade. That is, do not become bestsellers. Many of their authors do not make back even their advance. And the upshot is 98% of aspiring writers have no avenue for their creative work. I call that a no-win situation. Thanks to indie publishing, good writers can see their books in print and find them an audience. As in all vocations, some people opt for quality and some for money, as they do it all in the media. The responsibility for quality lies with the author, yes, but do not imagine for a moment that traditional publishers have the best writers all the time or even often. There's still prestige and going the trad route, but that exists in the mind of the beholder and is ego-driven, a matter of traditional pride. It is not a measure of art.
100%. 100 freaking percent.
There was a mic drop. Like that deserved like a mic drop.
That was a mic drop.
Yeah, this is exactly what it is. One thing I've seen is indie authors have an amazing community. So whoever that is, it gives me I'm not like the others.
I'm not like other girls.
Right. Take me. Now look, we're indie, so I don't want to sit and try to say like I know that the trad community isn't supportive. I feel like I've seen a supportive trad community, especially among like BIPOC authors who are very like writing for each other, and that's great. I don't know any other industry, but I know firsthand I would not be where I'm at as an author in my career in whatever if not for other indie authors around me.
Yeah.
If not for the friends like these two ladies that I've made, if not for the other ones, if not for like, we hype each other up, we help each other out with opportunities, we beta read for each other, we are shoulders to cry on. Like, you need that community, and you don't need to be alienating them by then turning around and biting the hand that feeds and saying that indie books are terrible. Sis, who hurt you? No. Like,
it just burns me up because we have a hard enough time as it is, like fighting against the stigma, that indie books have. So like for her to, and then to contradict herself at the end, oh, I'm indie publishing, girl, you just, that in itself made indie authors look bad. Like she proved her own point in that sense. The woman was too stunned to speak.
Khaila, what else are you feeling about this article?
I'm looking at this comment that is the same thing you say about books could be said about articles in Medium. For example, this one, your title doesn't article. You start by saying that you will publish your novel the traditional way. Then you go on to describe your effort to publish. I finished the article without knowing what you're going to do. And that is very true.
So we have another comment from Alexander Evans. Thanks for tuning in. Good morning. I'm an auditory storyteller composer, and I definitely see the parallels with the music industry. Publishing houses, just like record labels, have agendas and ulterior motives.
Yeah.
being independent brings a significant level of autonomy, I believe. Exactly.
Yeah.
You have a lot more creative control and the ability to put out the story the way you want it to be, the way that you decided to write it. And, you know, um, it's you have to pay for it
Yeah.
out of pocket, and that's a difficult thing. But
Even that, like, there are so many more tools and platforms now that are accessible not only just to indie authors, but like anyone who's in any kind of creative field and doing something independent. Like, you can have a what is it, like a crowdfund, you can create a Patreon. There's so many different things to where if you there's an audience for what you've created and they enjoy it and they're willing to support you for it. I mean, like that again, this idea that indie is somehow like we cheapen things or we like just doesn't make any sense. Just
I
right.
I feel like in this day and age where indie published web comics are being made into
mm-hmm.
shows and stories
Yeah.
from off of Wattpad are being made into movies, no one
Yes.
should be bashing indie creators at this point, like where we're
Right.
at right now. So it literally does not make sense.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's I forgot about that. Yup. Wattpad. Then they just make another what was it called? Like After We Fell or something like that. The After series. I never read the Wattpad series of it.
Right.
But they just made like part 2 to the movie on
Right.
Netflix and
I
yeah.
mean, the Kissing Booth, right?
Yeah, the Kissing
50 Shades
Booth.
of Grey, as I said earlier, I always drag that book, but that started as fan fiction. So it's
hmm
not like a lot of, you know what I mean? Like these books have origins. And also, let's talk about the indie books who were indie that went traditional.
Yeah.
Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter.
Yeah.
The Martian by Andy Weir. That got
hmm
made into a movie.
Yeah.
I think K.S. Veloso with Wolf of Ornyara, or at least like one of her other books, had the same thing where she was indie and it got picked up by a traditional publisher. And not saying that
Wasn't the
that's
beloved Sarah J. Maas she started off writing on fan fiction.
exactly, and
Yeah.
not saying that that's what everybody wants, but that also can happen. And let's see, El Penelope started out as indie,
hmm
yeah. And so, and also, I want to talk about what she means by the covers being professional. Because I feel like it's kind of this nebulous term of a
hmm
professional looking cover. But like, what does it even really mean? Like, what to y'all is a professional looking cover?
I feel like that's up to just taste. Like some people don't like I've seen
Yeah.
that they don't like people on covers. Like it's okay if the person's like cartoon eyes, but they don't like a shirtless man on the front of their book. Maybe
Mhm.
that doesn't look professional to them. To some people, it does look professional.
I mean,
Um,
they must not have read Danielle Steele. I've
right.
seen them books in the market all through the 90s.
Exactly. So I feel like it's all subjective. What I mean, unless you got something spelled wrong on the front of the cover, or I don't even know, like the text. I don't know because even the text of the cover, that's like the world is your oyster. Your cover can look
Yeah,
however
like
you want it
it
to
can
look.
vary from literally just one word on the cover and nothing else
hmm
to an entire ensemble of the characters, and it all depends on what you like. I've seen novels on the shelves of Walmart, those spicy romance
hmm
novels, and to me the covers don't necessarily look professional per se, but
Right.
I mean they're on the shelves of Walmart.
Right. So they're
I
professional
mean
enough. They're
Walmart, but
professional to
Yeah.
somebody.
Right.
yeah, yeah,
And with like in this day and age with Canva and Adobe Spark and all these different templates,
hmm
you could create, I mean, if you are able to do it by the specs of the book and the spine and the this and that, and obviously it might be easier to design like an ebook or like a paperback
Right.
versus like a with a dust jacket. But even like I got some books here. I feel like there's some of these books that like could even be designed and like this is a professional. trad book.
Right.
Can't wait. But you want to probably design something like this in Canva, not to like.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
beautiful cover. You know what I mean? But I'm
But
saying
it could be. It could be designed in Canva. Yeah.
there are books that are trad. Like there's this book. I don't know what the rapper Logic has a book out. He put it out a couple years ago. It's called Supermarket, and the cover is literally just red, the word supermarket in like yellow font, and his name at the bottom, and then the back just has a blurb, and that's it. And
Wow.
it's sold at Barnes and Noble, and it's a professional cover, and it's actually kind of cool because there's nothing on it, so it kind of
Yeah.
feels like, ooh, what's in the book,
Book, right.
you know?
Even Twilight, it was just like when the Twilight Frenzy was out. It was just the hands with the apple.
Canva, baby.
Right.
So I feel like to me a cover is professional if everything is spelled right, if it's giving at least some kind of idea of what's in the book. I think that's what should matter more, right? Does the cover match the contents of the book?
Right.
Like even my book.
Yes,
Okay.
pull it out.
Even this one, okay? There's no people on the cover, but with everything here, this is giving magic. This is giving
Yes.
running out of like tension, running out of time. This is giving like
This is giving amazing adventure, and you need to pick it up if you haven't already.
you know what I mean? So even something like this is still like you're intrigued and it's beautiful and
Yes.
there's magic.
And
so,
it's indie and it is a professional cover.
Exactly. And so I don't get this the I guess biting your hand that feeds, if you will, of trying to say that indie. Oh, then we'll talk about this last part of her. That's a beautiful fit. Thank you. We'll talk about this last part of what she said, which I don't think we touched on, which was that she felt that the way the indie books are now is disrespectful to readers. That's the other part of this.
Ooh.
Most trad pub sci-fi books can be argued against the author's complaint, and I've read some terrible books that have aesthetic covers.
Yep.
That part. So yeah, what do we think about what she said about, that bad, bad indie books are disrespectful to readers, or poorly edited books and are disrespectful to readers? I get the point, but
Right. Yeah, no, I get the point, but I don't think that's just a indie publishing problem. I think that falls on the author. Like, if that's what you wanted to publish, that's what you wanted to publish. Don't put that on all indie authors, because we try our damn. I know us. We try our damnedest to make sure nothing is, wrong or anything inside the contents of our book. But yeah, no, I get it. Like, to have anything kind of wrong per se in the book is, I wouldn't say disrespectful, but it's like, who you don't want to come across something in the book, but do you open up a book looking for mistakes? Are you opening up the book looking to immerse yourself in the actual contents of it, or are you opening the book like, this is indie, I already know it's gonna be mistakes, and she forgot a period, look at that, so what? I don't know. This girl, she gave me a headache.
I get that your reader should be your concern. I get that, but to say that because you don't necessarily like the quality of someone's writing that they're trying to disrespect their readers or something. I mean,
Yeah.
I hated 50 Shades of Grey. I didn't feel disrespected by it. I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's a good book. I don't think it's well written. I don't think that it's
wasn't worth the movie.
it's not a good story, and the dude is abusive, and if he wasn't hot, we'd be having a different conversation. But I don't feel like it's disrespected, and I do feel that regardless of whatever, we're still sitting here talking about the book. So the author's intent of getting people to talk about her book is still happening.
And she did that. Yeah, she she did a good job on that part.
And like obviously we want our to put out the best quality books that we possibly can. I would say
Mhm.
most authors do. And I'm saying
Right.
authors, not just indie or traditional. Most authors do. Sometimes people cut corners because they want to get their books out sooner or not intentionally wanting to cut a corner because they financially can't afford an editor or whatever. But I think that there's other ways that you can do, like having people read your book,
Yes.
uh, like beta read. Some
Yeah.
people, some beta
Proofreaders.
readers do charge, some
Hmm.
don't, and so that's something that you can figure it out. Taking watching on YouTube, taking a class on how to edit. That's
Yep.
something that you can do. Figure out how to do it yourself. Um, you can if you are hungry and have that desire, you can make it work. And as she mentioned, those two indie authors who make like 50K a month, which girl, tell me how to do
Right.
it. She's over here dragging them because they don't use professional whatever, but it's like, dude, but did you see how much they make? Like
So they're doing something
clearly
right.
their
Yeah.
readers do not feel disrespected.
Expected at all.
They are feeling fine.
Get just fine. Yeah. So then it comes to question like this. So what are you even talking about? Like you just pull up the stats that these people are making clearly like salary level money, and you're
You
talking
know,
about being disrespected by the fact that they're an indie published book. Like, girl, make it make sense.
you know, to wrap this up, I do think that I'll be interested to see what reviews her book gets and what people feel about her book when it does come out.
Hmm.
I do think that uh, if she didn't have other writing friends before, she needs to get some. But I think it's
Yeah.
going to be hard when they get their hands on this article that she's read or she's written and see what she really thinks about indie authors. Because I would not want to be friends with somebody who has such a low opinion of the industry
Yep.
that
Yeah.
you are deigning to join. Because
Yeah.
trad didn't work out for you for whatever reason.
Right.
I don't need that. She says hello. Deja says hello. I'm gonna have to rewind and see what y'all are talking about. I'll give a quick recap. Thank you for joining.
Yes. Hello.
We are talking about a recent article in Medium by an author who basically is just throwing a whole bunch of shade at indie authors, saying that indie published books aren't good, that they're not edited well, they're not developmentally edited, they don't have professional covers, and at the end it's disrespectful to readers. But ultimately, this author decided to go indie himself after trying to query traditional, and go trad or traditional published. So we've just been talking about how ridiculous that viewpoint is, how the article is not well written itself, and how talking about this industry that you are joining in such a negative way is really not a good look. And it's giving like somebody who does not have any other indie friends. That's kind of,
Mm.
I think, the gist of all that we. And also, like you can if the hunger and the will is there, you can put your books out and you can figure out how to make a cover that looks good. You can figure out how to, edit your book and do the interior design and get help and there's ways to make it work. And even books that might not have what we consider a professional looking cover or something, that doesn't mean that the book isn't good.
Right. That's all subjective.
All right. So anyway, we're gonna stop giving this lady some airtime, and we're gonna switch over to talking about our works because we're a community over here, and we want to celebrate our stuff. And people who are watching, if you are fellow authors, if you're working on something, let us know in the comments. We would love to give you a shout out and love to give you some encouragement on whatever it is that you were working on, and putting your books out there. So, ladies, what are we working on? Wow, SMH, exactly.
I feel like you should go first. You have the biggest news to I think.
Right. I was just going to say that.
Okay, well, I finished writing my third novel on Friday. That's the news.
Yay! How do you feel?
Girl, I'm so tired. It was a very long day because what had happened was me and my critique partner, Chelsea Lockhart, her channel is written in Melanin. If you have not checked out her channel, go ahead and check that out. Thank you. We decided to exchange works on the 28th, which was, Friday. And so we had pushed the deadline back, pushed it back and pushed it back.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally that was like the last, thank you. That was the last thing. But I'm a plotter, but that does not mean I'm not a procrastinator. Right. Like that's
right.
I'm a plotter who's also a procrastinator because I'm a Gemini. Duality.
I'm here with you. I got Gemini placements. I'm here.
So I was like slowly working on it, and then my anxieties stopped by for a visit. So then that had me down a couple of days. Khaila and I chatted last Sunday about it, like, ooh, what is happening? Thank you. And so I spent a lot of Friday working on it. I wrote over 7,000 words on Friday, wrapping up the story.
Wow.
And then I had to go through and format the document because I write the story in different docs, and then I had to put it all together. Right. I had to figure out where the chapters go. So by the time I was done, I started at like 5 or 6, and then midnight I had finished. So just straight kind of through. So I'm tired.
Yeah.
But I am so happy about this book. It is a new adult fantasy like my series. This is standalone from my series. It's called In the House of Transcendence. It's a dark fantasy about a necromancer who is solving a murder in Savannah. And there's a magical burlesque club. There's 3 magical houses vying for power. It is queer. It's all LGBTQ, Black LGBTQ characters, and they're all witches, and they're all powerful and wonderful.
Yes!
There's a scene at the end. I cried as I was writing it, and that's not really happened before. So look out.
Amanda, I can't wait.
I am so ready.
Girl.
I need you all to read it. These 2 ladies are also like my beta readers and some of my favorite people. So thanks for being there and listening to me be like, I don't know. This is just
you're fine. Oh my gosh,
I've been dying to read it. Yeah, that is amazing, Amanda.
Thank you. So I'm excited. Oh, I think I missed this comment. Hello, I'm just here to support indie authors. Love sharing your work and spreading the word. Thank you so much. And
yes, thank you.
Support. We love to see it. Yeah, so I'm currently in the stage where this is going to my beta readers, and I also am looking for a cover designer and trying to figure out what I want to do for the cover. I want to do a different vibe than the series, obviously, because it is a standalone. So I'm thinking here. A vibe I'm thinking of is, let me not knock over all my books. I'm a mess. Something similar to this.
Yes. That is badass.
I'm thinking a like a similar type of vibe. I will fix this later. So that's my book. Y'all, I can't be the only one. I'm blushing over here. Please. What y'all got going on? What are you working on?
You want me to go?
Whoever, whichever.
Yeah, you could go.
So yeah, no, I jumped back into Heavy's Ahead 2. It's coming along. I'm on chapter like 36, so I'm almost there. I'm nearing like the back end now. It's getting good. Once that's done, I'm gonna go through and make sure everything lines up correctly. Get me a developmental editor, recruit my betas. So I'm starting to get excited about that again, because before I was just like, whoo, child, this book, these politics are politicking. Um, yeah, political intrigue books are kind of difficult to write, but yeah, no, so that's been fun. And then I finished Love Bites for Wattpad, so that's coming out Valentine's Day. Very soon. It is a vampy love story, urban fiction. So that's that's been fun to write. I finished like, oh hey girl.
I really can't wait to read all of your work. I got get Katrina's book in the mail soon. Oh, you're gonna love
Yes,
it.
thank you, Chelsea. But
Um,
I'm currently reading an arc from the author.
not much writing going on, but trying to outline a sci-fi. Oh, okay, we're here for sci-fi romance. Yes.
But yeah, so yeah, finish Love Bites, working on Heavy is the Head too, trying to get that out there so I can start my because the cover is done. So I'm trying to think about how I'm gonna do the cover reveal bit, but I'm trying to wait. I'm trying to pull back on the reins. Finish the book first. Don't pants this. Finish the book first.
Right. Yes. Having a plan. I can't wait to see the cover. I love the cover of your first book.
Thank you.
It gives everything. Yeah. It's like intrigue and sexy and epic. So I can't wait. Your cover is
definitely sexy. That is like Katrina, your cover is very sexy.
Khaila, tell us about your work. Can't wait. I'm like,
okay, but before I do, I just want to say that I bought Katrina's book. It's also in the mail for me, and I finally bought the physical copy of To Ilaris, so I can't wait to just have the full Lit Bitches collection on my shelf. Just there.
Ooh, I just an idea popped in my head. I'll talk about it offline. But go. Okay, Khaila.
For me, I as you guys know, I've been working on my fantasy novel Land of the Gods, which is high fantasy epic novel. I was talking to Amanda about it, and I think that I finally found my groove in writing it. But not just that, but I've been delving into the world building a lot, because I feel like my problem has been that it's like you have to tell myself, okay, write the book first and think about everything else later. So I've been getting deep into I told myself that by mid-February I should have like 10K words. That's my goal. Maybe saying it on here will give me some kind of accountability, but that's what I'm doing. I'm I'm in love with my characters already, and I can't wait to share more with you guys.
Just know I am here to also I'm going to insert myself. Khaila, when you need a beta reader, I will make myself available.
Definitely. Yes. Don't worry. I already have you guys down.
She said what you didn't know was that was already the plan.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm so proud of us. We are making our dreams come true. We are putting our works out. Strong, wonderful stories full of characters. I'm so ready for these sequels. Also, congrats on selling out the book box.
Yeah.
So sweet. You're over here talking about I had the biggest news, but look at you, sold out a book box.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. That was so exciting. I was like, I can't believe it.
So if you don't know what we're talking about, Katrina, will you give some context, and don't be forgetting your own accomplishments.
Yeah, no, I forgot. So Heavy is the Head, Love and War was in Nerdy Book Box. If you're not following Nerdy Book Box on social, please do, because they're amazing. And I was their January feature. So it's an exclusive version of Heavy is the Head with like an exclusive recolor cover. And then some other book box goodies. And we sold out. So that was really great. Yeah, I forgot.
No, Oh, thank you so much. And if not
Yes,
for
thank you.
readers like y'all and people hyping us up, we wouldn't be here. So thank you all for tuning in. And we're excited to bring you these stories.
Very.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all we had planned for today, ladies. So if we don't have anything else, we're gonna wrap up this episode of Lit Bitches. Thanks for hanging out with us. To people who are watching this in the future, thanks for tuning in. If you want to see our hold on, that's amazing. Congrats, Katrina.
Thank you.
If you want to see past episodes, you can check them out in the Lit Bitches playlist I have on my YouTube channel, Amanda the Author, and you can see all of our past episodes. They're there. The only one that isn't there is our very first episode. We did that on IG Live, but we switched to YouTube. So check us out, and we
Don't
hope you
forget to
have.
subscribe to Amanda's channel.
See, look at me slipping. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, Amanda the Author, 2E's, I offer writing tips, book marketing tips. I talk about, honestly, all aspects of authoring, from plotting to writing, marketing, and also kind of the self-care bit as you're working on all the things you're working on. It's a good time, and we meet twice a month here, Lit Bitches, so don't forget to tune in. Follow us all on social media so you can keep track of what we're doing and when we're releasing episodes. So I am Amanda the Author. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Amanda the Author with 2 E's, and also Twitter, Amanda the Author with 1 E, because there's a character count there. And ladies,
Thank you, Chelsea.
Oh, thank you.
I am Katrina and Lewis. You can find me at Katrina Writes _ on Twitter. Sort of. I'm there, but am I? TikTok.
don't lead with the social platform you're not on, girl. Don't make that the first thing you talk about.
I am kind of on all of them, so you can find me. I'm on Wattpad too. My name is all the same across the board at Katrina Writes _
And I am Khaila Gentle. You can find me on Instagram at KGentleWrites. That is where I am most active. I am also very active on Twitter, but like I said last 2 weeks, that is where I basically just talk bullshit. But you can follow me at Caribbean Blur on Twitter, and I am on TikTok as KGentleWrites as well.
Yes, and if you haven't checked out Kyla's poetry collection, it is called Crossroads. Nice. It is Crossroads.
Oh my god, yes.
Crossroads. Let me just stop.
He's hitting you, Amanda's, or Amanda's calling you.
Ooh, okay, Crossroads. It's beautiful, and go ahead and pick that up. It's on Amazon if you haven't. And yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm also a poet. We buy all of our books.
Yes. Don't let my poor advertising deter you from checking us out. By all of our books. But ultimately, we hope y'all have a good day. Thanks for kicking it with us, and now and in the future. And we'll catch y'all later. Bye.
Bye.